In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can free Palestine and how you can bring peace to the Middle East. But you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna say I'm crazy. It's gonna annoy you, and you won't believe me until you reflect really quite deeply on it. So, you wanna bring peace to the Middle East? You wanna free Palestine? You cannot free Palestine until you free your mind from the illusion that disconnects you from Allah and from other human beings. You want peace in Palestine? You can never have peace in Palestine until you bring peace to all of your mind. There can never be peace in the Middle East until you have peace in the middle of your chest. This is not a crazy teaching. It is the teaching of every prophet of every religion since the beginning of time, and it is the teaching of Islam. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah says Allah will not change the state of a people until they change مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ, what is in their nafs, literally in their self, in their soul, in their ego, right? So the minute we start talking about that, Allah's not gonna, and by the way, only Allah can change the affliction that is happening to the Palestinians. You want proof of that? Keep reading the verse. You know what that verse says next? It says, وَإِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ سُوءًا, and if Allah wants to torment a people, then it can never be stopped. وَمَا لَهُم مِّن دُونِهِ مِّن وَالٍ, and they will not find any protector except him. In other words, the only one who can actually change the situation in Palestine like that is Allah, but Allah won't do it because you won't do it. Because you and I are so stubborn, we won't bring peace into our hearts. We won't put our foreheads on the ground. We won't raise our souls up by eliminating the illusion that brings torment to our minds, disconnects us from Allah, and disconnects us from the people around us. We won't bring peace into our lives and into our families. Allah says, well, then so be it. You will be responsible for what you do, and everyone who is doing things in the Middle East will be responsible for what they do, and we'll all face the consequence of it on the day of judgment. And my job here in this today's spiritual download is to say, don't wait until you're judged. Bring yourself to account before you're brought to account. And the way I bring myself to account is I look at my life and I say, in what areas of my life am I pretending that my wife is causing my negative feelings, that my kids are causing me to be frustrated, that the news is causing me to be upset and frustrated? The news doesn't cause your frustration and upset. Newsflash. The news isn't causing your frustration and upset. You're thinking about the news in a frustrated and upset way. And you might be saying, yeah, of course I am, Amun, because of the injustices that are happening in Palestine. That's what's making me be upset and frustrated and shout at my kids when they misbehave. Because anger is an irrational emotion. And you're watching the news, getting all frustrated, and then you're taking it out on the people around you, aren't you? It's happened, hasn't it? You've been looking at your phone too much, start giving grief to people around you. Well, you've fallen for the simple trick of the ego, and the oldest trick of the ego is to make you fall for the illusion that the world outside of you has the power to determine the way that you feel. That the way I'm feeling right now, I'm angry and upset because of Israel, because of Hamas, because of whatever. That's the illusion. It's not true. You're looking at Israel and Hamas in an upset, frustrated way. And in your mind, that's justification for your upset and frustration. So you have an excuse to hold on to it, right? And the more you watch, the more riled up you get. And then eventually, you can't be in that state. You see, that state of upset and anger and frustration and helplessness and guilt and everything, you know what that is? That is not the state of a highly elevated, conscious believer. It's not the state of the people of Allah. It's not the state of those who take Allah as a protector. It's not the state of those who are connected with Allah. The state that those people are in is love and gratitude and forgiveness and compassion and benevolence and understanding. That's the state of the people who have changed ma bi anfusihim. Right? So what is in our egos. So if you really want to free Palestine, free your own mind from the illusion that's disconnecting you from Allah and from the people you love. If you really want to create love and peace in the world, become the most loving and the most peace-giving, serene person you've ever met. If you want to be a source of positive transformation, don't just be an activist. There's lots of angry activists in the world. Don't be an angry activist. Be a peace activist. Be a spiritual activist. I'm asking you, especially those of you who are justice warriors, be more than a justice warrior. Be a justice warrior and a peace warrior and a love warrior and a forgiveness warrior and a benevolence warrior. Be like the Prophet, peace and blessings upon him, when he re-entered Mecca and people were afraid because they thought, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Because there were all these lies and rumors being spread about him. And when he entered, he said, listen, no one has anything to fear from me, right? Be like the Prophet, peace and blessings upon him, and be like Muhammad, be like Jesus, be like Abraham, be like Moses, be like all of the prophets of God, who ironically everybody in this conflict believes in. Be like them, peace and blessings be upon all of them, in the level of consciousness that you are bringing to the situation. If you're going to be an activist, act from that place. And we might actually find that Allah changes our state because we changed what's in ourselves. Until the next daily spiritual download, may the peace, love, and blessings of Allah be with you always.